That's the one. That's the one I've got. Oh, hey, PPIM versus Flux, man. We are ready to go. Ready to get ready. Yes, casters are fine with you for starting Flux Chick-Killer. It sounds a bit like he meant to say like chicken killer or chick killer.
No, it's like chi, as in the mystical energy. Chi.
Oh, he kills your chi.
Except.
I'm not sure I want to be in this game.
I'm just going to inform everyone now. He spelled chi incorrectly.
Yeah, isn't it spelled with a Q?
It is spelled with a Q, and I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said that. So no, you really made me happy that you said that.
So it is PPIM versus Flux. I actually have the team names the wrong way round, I'm afraid. PPIM are going to be on the red side, and Flux are going to be on the blue side. I'll change those over for us right now, like the administrating, the production god that I am.
Yes,
getting everything right the first time.
All other production gods must bow to you. You're like on just a whole nother level. Whole nother level.
Well, we do see Ziggs ban, Kale ban, Jax ban, Irelia ban, and a Morgana ban coming out already. Kale, Jax, Ziggs, I'm not that surprised by Irelia. A little bit iffy. Maybe they know that Legarian here... Lelgarian?
Leelgarian? I don't know. Oh, crits! Yes! So, if anyone was watching when we were streaming last Thursday, Crits won MVP, and Crits was playing Lee Sin. Now I am a slight Crits fanboy.
Ever so slight.
And they let him have the Lee Sin, so clearly, Pony Power is Magic did not do their homework.
Obviously not. Actually, I think that Lee Sin is going to be a bot lane Lee Sin. I can sense it's going to be a Lee Sin, Jarvan, kill lane in the bot lane.
You think it's no? I think it's going to be a Jarvan Leona kill lane in the bot lane.
Oh, actually, you know what I just found out?
What?
It's Blegarian. Because the L and the 3 make up a B, don't they?
Of course. I didn't see that now.
Selfish Mexi in chat's telling us that Thresh being locked in. Didn't see him in the Thresh Vibes match, but we are going to see him here in this match, which is the one we're talking about at the moment.
Yes. I like the Jarvan pick. I think Jarvan is a very good jungler at the moment. He's not quite as good as Lee Sin, but it's still very good nevertheless. I'm going to take a stab at this, and Shorzy, if you'd be so kind, please play AP Ezreal, just for me. That's all I want from you.
AP Ezreal is really shit.
No, it's fantastic. What are you talking about, Zona? It's fantastic.
It's really shit. Come on, man.
Oh, man, no. No. It's like Teemo's been locked in. It's official, guys. We have Teemo. And I... For one, I'm excited. Do you think it's going to be a mid lane Teemo, top lane Teemo, AD carry Teemo? Who knows?
Jungle Teemo.
Jungle Teemo. Yeah. Ah,
it's really strong.
Yeah, it's
because you can shroom the entire map and no one expects it.
Yeah, but you have to get to level 6.
Easiest play. Actually, I've got this wrong again. It's Belgarian, and I apologise, Selfish Mexi. Someday we'll have you on just to pronounce Belgarian's name.
We'll get him on just to be us.
So, of course, this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, some of the picks already are unusual, eccentric, to say the least. They're a bit out there, but we do have a Teemo. Oh, come on, Ashe. Oh, Lee Sin Ashe is actually a really, really, really strong lane, because you get the slow off the volley from Ashe, and then you get Lee Sin jumping in with Tempest Cripple as well, and that's another slow. And Sonic Wave does percentage health if you hit it with the Resonating Strike as well.
It was Pumandu played Lee Sin support, didn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe
not Pumanhu, remember, because
not Pumanhu, guys.
Didn't quite play support.
So maybe Mexi is like, hang on a second. Crits has already shown off his Lee Sin skills. I want to show off my Lee Sin skills this week for MVP.
Quite possibly.
But it looks like we're going to be seeing Nami. To disappoint us. Mexi, please. Senpai.
Okay. Now, if I took this as a no way trolling team, no way they're trolling, okay? I would say it's probably going to be a Vayne top, Lee Sin jungle, Teemo mid, and an Ezreal Nami bot lane. Because that makes the most sense. Vayne top is relatively commonly seen.
The top lane that makes the most sense, in my opinion, would be AP Ezreal in that mid lane. And then we're going to see Lee Sin in the jungle on crits, because he's just the only, he does 1,000 games on Lee Sin.
Oh, and then Teemo top. Yeah, that makes sense as well. Yeah.
I think that's also a good... And I think, actually, the Teemo-Lulu matchup isn't that bad. I think it's a pretty even matchup, because Lulu is quite an auto-attack. I mean, once you've hit Glitterlance, you're then using your picks. And I'm pretty sure that the blind affects his picks' damage as well. I think.
It is auto attacks coming from picks, so yes, that would make sense.
I think it does. I'm not confirmed. We need Mythbusters in here.
Unconfirmed.
Riftbusters. Riftbusters, exactly. Yeah. So Twitch being the final lock in there. Twitch Thresh, pretty strong lane.
Exceptionally strong, especially if you land a hook on that Nami early game. Yes, she has got the bubble to keep herself safe, but Vayne is probably going to dodge out from most hooks as long as he's relatively good with that tumble. But then, if you land it on Nami,
early on against Twitch. Vayne struggles against Twitch early.
Everyone struggles against Twitch early on.
That's very true.
They have, of course, nerfed that passive venomous damage, so not quite the sort of all-out powerhouse he used to be in early game.
Yes, but in that late game, I think late game actually. Pony, you've got a really solid comp. You've got Jarvan as your ball delivery system. Just to set you up for a nice knock-up again from that Lulu around that Jarvan, just being a really sort of potent force. Thresh doing his peeling various left, right, and center, doing crazy Thresh things. And then just spray and pay straight over the top. Basic wombo combo team. Basic one.
Very much. You've got to get those balls in deep, though. Got to get
absolutely.
Them
really
you've got to go
really, really, really deep.
Yeah.
And it, and I think Kobe identified that best.
Yeah.
You got to get that ball in really, really, really deep.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, as far in as possible.
Absolutely.
Especially against the backline of Ezreal and Nami, they're quite safe. Like, you get the speed up boost from Nami's passive every time she uses a spell on you, including her tidal wave.
Yes.
Like, that is something that not many supports recognize. If you tidal wave your own team, they get movement speed buff going towards the enemy team who's running away from your tidal wave. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous play. And it's one of those little things that you notice, and then you're like, oh, that was just, I actually just came because of that play.
And this is where Nami is the Lee Sin of supports. She has loads of these little mechanical complexities that you kind of don't really know about until you play her a lot and you discover these little things about her kit that she has that give her lots of hidden little extra bits of power here, there, and everywhere. And if Mexi can use those to the fullest potential, we could see some great things. Could see some really great things.
Yeah, we really, really couldn't. It's going to be a really interesting game, I think. Both of these teams have strong late games, really. Jarvan's very strong with that ball delivery system, as you said. And then, of course, Teemo late game can be a powerhouse, really doing a huge amount of damage. Ezreal as well, as soon as he gets to sort of that Lichbane level, where he has quite a bit of extra damage from the auto attacks coming in. But it's going to be really interesting to see how the game does go down, because we do know there's a bit of a skill disparity between these two teams, but perhaps not so much that we won't see PPIM actually being able to do anything.
I think Pony's comp has potential, and that's shown that they know how to pick and ban. Which is, that's at this point in the game, that's all we can really sort of know about them, is can they pick and ban enough. I think this Teemo could be problematic. We saw a similar top lane sort of strengths from Vlad, in that he was just ungankable, and the pressure and the havoc that he wreaked. And then if you've got crits, as I've seen him before, we'll probably see him again, being super aggressive on this Lee Sin. Heavy early invades. He wants to take his buff, take your second buff, take your third buff sometimes, take your fourth buff. And as we saw, and if you can keep Jarvan down, that's going to give Cheekiller even more room to breathe on this Teemo, and even more room to be that toxic scout that he is.
Yeah. Scout's code.
It's the Scout's code, exactly,
And Teemo's very good at stealing buffs as well, because he comes in, and as a jungler, you're like, oh yeah, I can fight a Teemo who's tiny, he's a little yodel, and then he's like, aha, blinding dart, and none of your next 5 auto attacks do anything, and then you realise you're dead. Or you flash away, and then the poison stack kills you, and it's just like, oh my goodness gracious, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life.
And if Cheekiller can grant his team that vision that the mushrooms give you, you can create great little moves off those as well, because you can funnel people in and force people to team fight in ways that you want to deal with, which is great for Vayne, because Vayne is this very fragile AD carry, but when she gets rolling, it becomes very problematic. So if you can know, like, oh well, I know that the left side is impenetrable because we have a wall of mushrooms, or I know that my right side is safe. You know, I only have to maneuver in certain ways to feel okay. That's going to make her team fight better, and that's going to make it easier for the Nami to get decent tidal waves, and it's going to allow Lee Sin to play around in the jungle a lot because he can wall jump to mushrooms and all these kinds of extra little things that all kind of fit together like little nice Legos.
A little like nice Lego combination.
Yeah, the Lego combination
becomes a season 4 trophy here for Perilous.
I think in the wise words of Grosh, #synergy.
The wise words of Grosh. It's just a phrase you rarely
That's right,
hear.
I quoted myself.
Seldom in the world will you ever hear in the wise words of Grosh. But today, a very wise man.
It was, you know, I think we've got a lot of potential for this Lee Sin to do a lot of damage and deal a lot of havoc, and allow Shawzy to feel very safe, and allow Vayne on Mistra on Vayne to feel very safe as well.
I think it's going to be a lot about that early vision and the early ward placements that we see coming out from PPIM, because if they don't manage to shut down that Lee Sin early, if he gets roaming, you've got such a hypermobile team coming out from Flux.
Hypermobile is exactly how to describe it.
That if they're ahead of you, you're not going to be able to either engage on them properly, because Cataclysm can be tumbled out of, it can be Arcane shifted out of, it can be T-mode out of. I don't know how T-mode would get out of it apart from Flash, but still.
He's so small, he fits through the gaps.
Yeah, it's like Rorschach in like the prison. It's like, I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. And T-Mo would just like kill them all.
Oh, the Watchmen reference already.
I try. Gotta get those Watchmen references.
Gotta get those Watchmen references in.
Yeah.
You know, got to.
Anyway, we are just about to get into the game, guys. The loading screen is up, and we are into the game, onto the Rift, ready and raring to go in this game between Flux and PPIM.
One thing I did want to talk about was Cheekiller not running that teleport. He's running that Ghost against Belgarian, who's got that teleport. And this could be a problem if Pony decide to fight early and they can get a 5v4 man overlap and make plays with that teleport. If they can't, it's kind of going to be to Belgarian's detriment. I think we're just going to see Teemo sit up top for 30 minutes.
Yeah, much will be done if Teemo sits up top, but even then, like, yes, you can let Teemo sort of free farm in the top lane. If if Lulu uses that teleport to come down and get some good ganks off, then that really works out better for ponies than it would for Teemo, even though he gets that extra CS. If they can stop them from getting into the late game, definitely going to be beneficial here for ponies.
Yes, I think the main factor here is Pony needs to finish this game quick. Like, they need to finish in the mid game. They need to finish at that 25, 30-minute mark. Finish that game when Orianna's doing reasonably good damage, Lulu's doing reasonably good damage and has got good support sort of utility. Thresh is still doing good damage because his flay magic damage not quite as fallen off yet. And Twitch has probably got that Blade of the Ruin King Yumu, so he's at that kind of power point where he gets that. And if he can get to those kind of points, they could finish this game really, really quickly. But if they can't, Vayne's going to be an issue. Twitch is going to be an issue. Teemo is going to be an issue, and Ezreal is just Ezreal. I think the true measure of Shawzy here is, can he hit skill shots, and what's his true shot barrage going to be like? Because if he hits a 5-man true shot barrage, you take a lot of damage from that.
Teemo and Lulu actually fighting in the top lane already, but like Belgarian taken down to less than half HP, and we talked about this. Teemo is a pain to play against. Just don't want to see him as your lane opponent, even if you are a ranged champion like Lulu. Yes,
absolutely. And I think Teemo has slightly greater range than the Lulu there with that blinding dot, so he can kind of get in a quick early auto attack, and then you can't really trade back effectively with him as Lulu.
Yeah. One thing I do want to sort of draw your attention to is the Targon's Embrace build coming, the Runic Shield into Targon's Embrace build coming out here from Thresh. I'm not a massive fan of it. I prefer to go for the early Ruby Crystal, get an early Sightstone, and then build from there, or go for the Ancient Coin and go into your Talisman of Ascension. I just feel those give you a little bit more in lane. You get the extra mana to get your Flays off and your Death Sentences off, and we look at that, they're getting traded out very hard early game. So maybe he's using it for the sustain, but I think I would have preferred to see an early Ruby Crystal coming out from him.
Yeah, and I think also going for that relic shield into the Targon's Brace, you kind of lock the way that you're going to skill as well, because you need to get that flay damage up a little bit so that you can actually effectively kill these minions, because you don't get the passive from the relic shield, you don't get the execute.
Yeah.
Which makes it very difficult. Now, top lane, looking
huge fight coming out. Lee Sin's in the bush. He's going to counter gank this one. That's going to be massive. Teemo taking down a little bit, but they're going to go onto this Jarvan. The Sonic Wave has hit. Resonating Strike going to come in there. Nicely timed there by Crits. He gets the first kill. Red buff here on Belgarian. He's going to get taken very low. Are they going to engage? No, flashes away. And it's the counter gank. Counter ganks win fights all of the time, because you come in, they're not expecting you, and they're like, oh, just use my gap closers. I can't get away from this Lee Sin. And they get taken down.
Absolutely. It was a great Sonic Wave from Crits. And whoa. Belgarian, the recall.
Pause coming out.
Small pause coming out, though. Do we know what the issue is?
I do not, because I don't have chat up, just in case the teams are being mean or unruly or such like. I don't want to see, oh, this Sona guy is the worst caster I've ever heard in chat while I'm casting, because it sort of puts you off ever so slightly. But
they said that you're the best caster that they've ever heard.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, man.
That was it. And I'm just going to try and find out.
Oh, we're back in. We're back in.
Oh, we're back in. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, cool. So just a quick pause there, just to didn't last very long at all. TP being used by Belgarian there, doesn't want to miss too much XP or CS. Gets back in relatively quickly. But Teemo already got a little bit of an XP and CS advantage now, just from that nicely timed gank from Crits there. Just expecting the Jarvan to be there, spotting him out with that ward as well. And he didn't manage to land his combo either, which wasn't great.
Flash burn in mid lane.
Good flash
coming,
on Good flash.
Didn't have any mana for the command dissonance as well, so wasn't able to speed himself back up.
That Sonic Wave was on point to land as well, so it was a good move from Crits to be there to force the flash from the Orianna. She's gone for that Ignite as well, so she's going for a very aggressive Orianna, and I actually think that Orianna realistically should win this matchup against Ezreal early on, because she's such a good trader because of her passive, that stacking auto attack damage with the clockwork wind up.
Yeah.
She should be able to harass this Ezreal a lot more than she is doing, and maybe that shows a little bit of unfamiliarity in this AP Ezreal matchup and not really knowing how to play against it.
Yeah, here comes Jarvan in his mid lane, but Ezreal, an incredibly safe laner, so can just use that Arcane Shift to get away. One Mystic Shot to the face, Cook jumps in, Arcane Shift away. Does take quite a bit of damage and gets slowed as well, but should be able to escape from this one. Lee Sin's coming up as well. No. Come on, protecting the back out. Oh, Hook landing here onto Vayne. Not going to go in the bubble, onto Twitch as well. He's going to get knocked back a little bit. Look at that damage. Oh, there's going to be a Silver Bolts block here, but he's taken quite low as well. Down to about a third of his HP. Both AD carries quite low. Jarvan coming in. Lee Sin as well from the bot lane, but there is a ward in that bush. He's going to get spotted out. The counter gank is real. Here comes Keke on this Thresh. Going to go in. Jarvan from the side. Bubble landing down to Twitch. That was gorgeous. Bubble. He tries to flash away. Exhaust goes down. Actually saves his life. Hook there onto Vayne. He's going to get taken very low from that tower shot as well. 200 HP. Jarvan didn't join the fight at all.
Really?
To come in from the river, and that would have been easily a single kill, at least on Vayne. They're going to keep going. Jarvan's still not here. Bubble misses, but here comes Crits on that Lee Sin. Misses the Sonic Wave. He jumps in. Tempest Cripple gives him the vision. He's going to chase. Yes! Tygoler's Blessing gets the kill. Expotent taken down, and Jarvan's still not there with the fight, but Vayne uses their heals to get away from that cannon minion. Where is Jarvan? You could get a kill. Thresh getting dived over the tower. Nami almost gets taken down. Doesn't quite. Targets the cannon minion. They're going to get a kill. Where was Jarvan for the entire fight?
Where was Jarvan? Frustrating as a bot lane, because Jarvan was in the perfect position to counter gank that and to make a play, and it just didn't happen. Realistically, I don't think that Flux could have got a kill from that. If they'd been around, if Jarvan had been there, it might have been a lot more even than it was.
If Jarvan was there, easily a double kill for him.
Absolutely.
Easily.
You know, Absolutely.
Even if Twitch dies, all the Jarvan has to do is jump on Vayne. Like, he's got Flash of it. No, he hasn't got Flash available, but he's got his Flag and Drag available. It's such an easy kill. He was still on almost full life. Yes, Lee Sin's there, but he hasn't got Dragon's Rage. He's used all of his abilities to get that gank off, and he's used his Flash.
Even Flash for that Tempest cripple as well.
It was really nicely played by Flux, but Jarvan just totally mispositioned himself, and I'd be so frustrated as a bot lane if that was me.
I think that just shows the communication issues within Pony.
Yeah.
And how, obviously, being a new league, some of the teams within this league are newly formed and not necessarily as experienced as other teams like Flux, who have been together for quite some time now. And perhaps that's something that they need to work on, is better being able to communicate, like, Jarvan. Yeah. Get ready. I think we might have a gank coming in. You should be around. Like, we need you to be here.
Yeah. And that I don't mean to put all the blame on Jarvan. Obviously, he doesn't know what's going to happen with the gank, and it's very difficult for him to predict the enemy's movement, especially when there is that sort of skill disparity as well. It would have been helpful for the counter gank, and I think, as you say, it's just a bit of team miscommunication. So I'm not putting all the blame on Jarvan. I just feel he might have been able to help out his team a little bit better.
So we're just on a pause again. I think it was Mexi having a few little issues with his connection, but once that's back up, I think that'll be fine.
Yeah, should be back up any second now. He seems to have just been able to get back into the game right now, so hopefully we'll be back in. And there's a big sort of CS disparity throughout all of the lanes at the moment. Teemo 45-34 up. Ezreal 48-35 up on that Orianna as well, and 43-26 in the bot lane. And Vayne with that kill as well, sitting on 1,600 gold. So is he going to go for the Bilgewater Cutlass, or is he going to go for sort of a Blade of the Ruin King? I expect Bilgewater, but you never know.
Yes, I think we see the Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah,
there's no. I mean, it's a fantastic item, and the Blade of the Ruin King, Yumu's Ghostblade, is a solid item for AD carries at the moment, and just I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't get it. But then, well, Jarvan and Lee Sin both get very tanky, so I think we'll see both AD carries get the Blade of the Ruin King.
It looks like Lee Sin's building into that Spirit of the Elder Lizard. He's got double longsword now, so that's actually probably really helped him out in that gank, because it gave him all that extra damage as well, helped him secure that kill onto the Twitch.
This is because Lee Sin doesn't tend to work very well with the Spirit Stone item specifically, because it has that mana regeneration, and it's not a stat that he can use.
Yeah.
So keeping with the Hunter's Machete and actually going towards the double longsword gives you a little early power play that you can kind of work. We're just having a few little issues with.
Oh, here we are.
With Mexi, now it's back in. Oh, hang on a second. I think there might be a few. Okay.
Okay.
I think he's just reconnected now. So.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. Oh no, another pause. Well, hopefully we'll be back into the game any second now, so we'll be ready and raring to play. And we talked a bit about this mid lane and how you think Orianna should beat out Ezreal early. Now they both hit 6. Going to be a bit more difficult for Orianna.
Yes.
She has to avoid that true shot barrage, which you can never tell where it's coming from. And I've seen lots of Ezreals, especially if they're playing AP Ezreal, they'll hide across on the Wraith wall and then ult Arcane Shift in and use the Lich Bane proc as well on the Mystic Shot, and you're just dead.
Yeah.
If you haven't reacted quickly enough, especially when you don't have heal, you're gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, considering the Orianna's struggling in this matchup already, she's burned a flash, she's 15 CS down, and she's gone quite aggressive in her summoner spells. I'm surprised now with her having such a tough time in the matchup that she hasn't gone towards matching that shield first instead.
Yeah. Because
the Command Protect is actually a really good way to go, okay, I'm not going to have a good time early game. Let's build towards a nice mid to late game kind of build in terms of my skills, so that I might be down in CS potentially. However, I'm not going to give up too much gold because I'm not going to die. And 20 CS is about equal to 1 kill. So she's only down like 1 kill. If she's only down 20 CS, it's kind of okay, you know, and she's still probably there okay in XP and things like that. And with the aggression that we've seen from Lee Sin already, as Orianna, I would now be thinking, maybe that's what I should be doing. Maybe now I should actually not go towards that command attack, which actually does roughly I think it does about 10% more damage than command dissonance in general, because the way the CDs work. But you have to be constantly on using that command attack to be able to get the most damage out of it, which means that you need to have very good mechanics. You need to be very reactive with the way that you play. And if you can't necessarily do that, then maybe the dissonance is a good way to trade, because it's a 1-2 punch kind of combo.
Yeah.
You know, rather than like constantly moving your ball and having really good mechanics.
I think the difficulty with that is that if you go for the 1-2 punch, Ezreal has that much, a little bit of extra time to react and use his Arcane Shift to get out.
Yeah, so and then you get into this, so why maybe this isn't so one-sided as I'd originally thought, and maybe it isn't as one-sided as Orianna has, as Orianna should be, and actually it's quite much a skill matchup.
Yeah, I still think as soon as Ezreal goes back and gets sort of a Lich Bane or any sort of AP
even the Sheen is going to give him a big power
point. The Sheen is the big thing for Ezreal. Yeah. If he gets that, he's really going to be able to burst down this Orianna very easily, really, especially since she won't have the time to react. And thus far, Ezreal hasn't gone back yet. He's got 1,500 gold in the bank. Might be a needlessly large rod coming out. Might be that Sheen start.
I think we'll see him pick up the Sheen into the boots.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid pickup. And it will just make he's going for that maxing of the W first, which is the essence flux.
Yeah,
yes, that's it. And then depending on which way he skills next, will be interesting, because I actually think that you should potentially skill Arcane Shift, because of the damage that you get, and the AP ratio scaling is about 0.7 or 0.8 or something like that. Now the Mystic Shot is the other kind of build path that you can go, and you can max that, which goes really nicely with your Lich Bane, because you have more Q, you have more sort of, you can throw out more damage.
Yeah.
And the Mystic Shot applies the Lich Bane proc. So I think there's two ways he could go, and depending on whether he wants to go more AP or heavy AP, like the Rabadon's Death Cap, or, you know, big AP items like Zhonya's Hourglass or something like that, or whether he wants to go sustained DPS or burst DPS. I think that's really where we'll see the itemization come from Ezreal, and I think that will also stem from how he's playing, and how the game's kind of going, and what kind of role he needs to fulfill, because his team does quite a lot of decent sustained damage. You've got Teemo, very auto attack heavy champion, does lots of spells, does lots of damage over time with his dots and things. Same can be said for Lee Sin and Vayne as well, and whether they want him to be just kind of like the Rise machine gun build, you know, where you just keep throwing out spell after spell after spell after spell, or whether you want to be like, okay, you're fulfilling the Syndra role where you just go 1-2 dead. And it depends what they want from him as a teammate.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very dependent on that. And one thing I like about Flux's team build, really, is they've gone for the heavy AP top, the heavy AP mid laner, and then they have a Vayne to back that all up. So if everyone's building magic resist and health, because that's what you build against burst sort of AP carries as it gets later into the game, Vayne is so good against that, because he's got percentage health damage and the Blade of the Ruin King as well, and all of this extra auto attacks coming off. So it's going to be very difficult for them to itemize effectively against the team as a whole. If you itemize against Vayne, you're going to get killed by Ezreal and Teemo, and if you itemize against Ezreal and Teemo, you're going to get killed by Vayne. It's a 3-man threat, and that's a really big thing.
Yeah, and so the thing is like, oh, what's the best way to itemize against magic damage and physical damage is get a bit of both and then build health, but you can't build health, can you? You know, so it's a triple threat, like you said, which is great.
It's absolutely superb. And we haven't talked a huge amount about Pony, really. They've got some very good threats of their own. Lulu in top lane can do a huge amount of burst damage, and as we talked about, that Jarvan Ball delivery system, is that combination comes off with the Catalysm and the Orianna Command Protect into the Shockwave and the Wild Growth as well.
The Wild Growth, like
that's
the knock-up.
Huge.
Yeah, and especially if Twitch can get to that power point with the Blade of the Ruin King Yumi's Ghostblade, with that spray and pray, or the rat-a-tat-tat, as it's now called.
Oh, the worst. Worst name.
Can we call it spray and pray?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, if you can get to that power point where he has those two items, he can pop that Yumu's Ghostblade, pop the spray and pray, and if they're all bundled up into this wonderful package of doom, he's just going to get a pentakill, and it'd be glorious to see.
Yeah. It would be absolutely wonderful, especially with Thresh going in. He's another ball delivery system.
Absolutely.
He lands a death sentence, gets that fly off, hits a box on 3 or 4 people. A shockwave there brings them all back into the centre of the box,
Ready
which
to
I
be
still think should be called the
well.
threshold.
Yeah,
I think it should be called
the theory of this comp is good. The theory is very good. All of the champions are very powerful in the meta as well, and the way they work together is very obvious. So if they can pull off this high skill combo where they need to have good communication, that it could spell disaster, because it's the kind of combo that works irrelevant of gold lead.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the Pharrell Lord 3000 ELO Shockwave Oriana Rumble Equalizer combo. You know, it's that same thing. It doesn't matter how far down you are. You hit this combo, you have no answer as a team unless you're like 30k ahead.
You're just going to win the game, really, isn't it?
Yeah, if they can get it right, it'll be great to see, and I think it'll be good. Still having a little bit of
issues. Yeah.
Here we are.
Resume. Here we go. Back into the game. Absolutely, finally. So here we go. Shorzy farming up this mid lane. Minions are dying, as always happen after a pause goes so quickly. And hopefully we won't have any more pauses. I do apologise, of course, for the pauses. Nothing we can really do about them. We're not playing at LAN or on a tournament realm. Although this is tournament draft, which I always find an interesting sort of dichotomy in Riot games. We do see crits coming to the mid lane, going to try and jump onto Oriana. Lots of damage coming down. Tempest cripple. Shockwave actually knocking crits back in, but he's still got that safeguard available. Ignite. One more to attack. There's the kill. Mexi's left the game as well, but Shorzy picks up the kill in mid lane. 4-0 now. 3,000 gold in the lead. Nicely done.
So it sounds like Flux are going to play 4v5.
Yeah.
Because Mexi's still having a few issues, and I think they're going to continue playing and wait till and he's going to try and fix that without there being many pauses.
Well, usually in these sorts of things, you have a team has a 15-minute pause window type of idea. So hopefully nothing too much. But we do see Keke here on Thresh trying to utilise this to their own advantage. Going to land that death sentence. Here comes Expotent. Going to try and get some damage off. The flash is there, and he's going to be able to get away. Vayne surviving on about 150 HP. And some people would say it's a scumbag move, but you want your team to win. You do what you can.
That's absolutely what it is. You know, at the end of the day, it's a league where you want to do well, you need success, and you can't allow people. You can't allow people to have kind of hand holding because of poor connections, and I think that's fair enough. And I think Pony are doing the right thing here, and I think Flux completely understand that.
Yeah, I think it's as a professional, or as even a semi-pro, or even a high-level amateur, you understand that the other team wants to win, and especially for a team like Pony, if they can get a win against Flux, who are a team that not many people in this league are looking for wins against at the moment. Well, of course they're looking, but they're not achieving them. If they can get that win, that really rockets them both emotionally, both morally, and also, of course, in the league. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's a great move.
Nice landing down Vayne. Yeah. Oh, Nami's actually going back to base. I thought she'd reconnected there for a second, but not quite. Kari's getting jumped on in the mid lane as well. Crits is focusing on other lanes, not focusing on Vayne in the bot lane. Going to get some damage down, and Kari's going to go down. Nicely done by Shorzy. So much damage coming out from that Essence Flux as well.
Essence Flux, doing really, really good work.
Doing the damages, and actually going to chase down Cook here as well. Crits all by himself, but has got that Dragon's Rage available. Look at the damage. Oh, the true shot barrage is beautiful. Dragon's Rage does get the kill. Belgarian fighting against Chiller in the top lane. He's going to get that Glue Lance off. Might be enough. Actually trying to lead him through that mushroom. Not going to be able to bait him into that bush too hard.
Yeah, a nice little move there from Crits. Getting in that Jarvan's face and really just kind of putting him on tilt a little bit.
Teemo very low in the bot lane. Glitter Lance. Oh! Actually, get it right at the edge. Beautifully done. But here comes Crits. One mushroom. Here we go.
Two mushrooms.
Crits still chasing. Is he going to go for the third? No,
Belgarian, please, for the 3.
Oh, Wild Growth actually used. I think he might.
I was hoping he's going to Dragon Rage him into the 3rd, but he doesn't have it available.
Crits does pick up another kill. 4-0 now.
Crits on Lee Sin, man. You've got to do your homework against this guy. You've got to ban this champion out, because this is his go-to jungler. This is what he plays. This is what he knows, and he clearly excels on it.
Really does. I'm actually really impressed by Mythistra on this Vayne. He's still 12 CS ahead, even though he's being zoned out a lot. And I know he was ahead already, but he's still quite a bit ahead in that bottom lane.
Yes, I think he's showing mechanically why he's ranked so highly, just able to survive, especially as Vayne. Like, Vayne is a tough AD carry to play in this current meta anyway, especially against Thresh, Twitch.
Yeah.
And I think Twitch and Thresh here could be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Had to predict that the Arcane Shift was going out. Crits again in this bottom lane. Oh, nice smite there, actually smiting away the minion so he could land the Sonic Wave, and didn't quite manage to follow up. Final hour was popped by Vayne as well. They might jump back in on this, but nicely done. Uses that. Wow. Oh yeah, just insect mechanics, and that's why Crits is one of the best players of Lee Sin in the game at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a nice little move there. Twitch coming a little bit too far out to get that ward in there when he didn't really need to. And it's just you can just see how Crits knows exactly what he needs to do for his team, and he's there in the right place at the right time every single time. And he's invading on this Jarvan again at this Wraith.
Yeah, he's going to get Tempest crippled, and he flashes across the wall. Oh, Shockwave just missing there, not going to be able to go in. And I like what Flux are doing here. We see Ezreal roaming from the mid lane as much as he can. We see Lee Sin getting as many ganks off as they can, because they know if this game gets past the 30-35 minute mark, they're not going to be in a good position, because there are 5 champions. That's an extra 4 skills and 2 summoner spells as well on the enemy team. So you need to take your early advantages, and we've seen... Basically, at the start of the game, we were talking about how Pony had the early game team. They need to win this game early. Now it's the other way round. We need to see Perilous Flux get into that early ascendancy, get Vayne early fed early so she can get to that stage where she can melt carries down.
And she can also 1v1 and go in that bot lane on her own and just solo push. Yeah. I think if they can get Vayne to the point where she can happily fight Thresh, Twitch, 1v2, they will be in a very good position.
He's actually gained a CS advantage.
Yeah.
He's now 20 CS ahead as opposed to the 12 that he was a couple of seconds ago. Ooh, True Shot Rush coming down mid lane. He's going to hit onto this Orianna. Here comes Lee Sin from the side. Is he going to be able to do anything? Nope. Backs away. They know that Jarvan's across on the other side of the map. They've got that nice ward position in there. Lee Sin might come in for the counter gank here, actually. Here comes Jarvan from the side. Lots of damage down to the tower. It's down to about a third of his HP. Oh! Misses the flag and drag combo, which can happen if it's mispositioned. Thresh was there as well, but he's going to get jumped on here by Lee Sin. So much damage going down to him. The command protect is there, but look at that. Oh, the hook landing down to Ezreal. That's quite a nice target. The box comes down, but nice safeguard out. Shawzy is going to get focused down, as is Lee Sin. So much damage. Oh, Cataclysm is safeguarded away from. And Lulu getting taken very low in top lane. She's going to go down. Poison stacks from Teemo, who is basically Satan himself, manages to pick up the kill.
Yeah, great little move there from Crits and Shawzy to pick up that one onto Thresh. You know, just knowing how much damage that Dragon Rage is going to do, finishing him with that, and just Cook being a little bit kind of keen to get that Cataclysm down. You know, Lee Sin is a highly mobile champion, and you know you can get out of almost anything that you throw at him. So maybe not the best time to use that ult, but it was close. It does a lot of damage still. So, but Teemo, Frozen Mallet Teemo.
Well, you've got to keep on at Lulu, haven't you?
I mean, these topside mushrooms are just... I think if I was Jarvan trying to get into this top lane, it would be rage-inducing.
Yeah, look at that. There's 6 mushrooms in that sort of tri-bush area, and then 3 mushrooms in those top bushes as well. Really nicely positioned by him just to stop anyone getting anywhere near. He's 30 CS ahead.
And also that Frozen Mallet. Frozen Mallet gives him 700 HP, so actually, he's tanky as all hell.
Teemo, the tanky Yordle. It is Yordle wars in the top lane, but look at this Belgarian not having fun at all. Jarvan is not coming across at the moment. Doesn't really think that he can help out his top laner at all. I suspect that we'll see maybe Chi Killer go towards that Wit's End because it's... look at this. Vayne actually 2v1 in bot lane. Gets flayed away as he flashes in, but he uses that final hour. Is he going to go in? Exhaust is popped. Mex is reconnected while this is happening. There's one kill. He can probably fight off this Thresh as well. He's got a lot of mana. The flay comes out as well.
He's tanking that minion wave.
Yeah, lots of minions. Oh, is he going to be able to survive? The minions steal and he goes down. Keke picking up 1 kill for his own team, but Vayne 2v1 basically and got a kill.
Yeah. Little bit of a nice move in the mid lane there.
Yeah, just death everywhere for Kali at the moment.
So
not
much
having
death.
fun.
They're really giving this Orianna hell to pay. And still going towards those two down. I think realistically now that command protect needs to be a priority because she is taking a lot of damage against these guys. Whoa!
That damage from crits is incredible. He's 8-0-3. He's got Spirit of the Elder Lizard and that Brutalizer building towards his Black Cleaver. So because he knew that Nami disconnected, he was like, we need some early game damage. We need to win this fight.
Yeah.
And got that. He's going towards that Black Cleaver, so there'll be so much damage coming out from him. And I mean, Perilous Flux are playing superbly. Probably one of the best teams in the UK at the moment. I mean, competing with teams like Infused and London Conspiracy are pretty good as well, in all honesty. So
and Dignitas UK still.
No, I think
around?
they disbanded. In all honesty,
yeah, they did disband.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether they had or not.
FME Sports are pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, True Shot Barrage, is it enough? Thresh Prince surviving there. Oh, but here comes Prince from the side. He's already used Safeguard. Is he going to go in? The heal down. Smite goes down. Resonating Strike is there. Oh, he gets played away. Beautifully played there by the Thresh. But here comes Vayne. Yeah, that's a very, very, very dead Twitch. I mean, the flay there was gorgeous, but not
nice
quite
move
able
from
to
the nice move from Keke then. Nice, good kind of good play from him to stop Lee Sin. He flayed him out of that Sonic Wave, which meant he didn't land that damage down as well. So, you know, it was Crits getting a little bit kind of cocky in that top lane, thinking he might be able to make a few little moves and tower dive on that, but actually it wasn't meant to be.
Not quite meant to be.
Oh, Crits, you've let me down.
Yeah, not quite what you wanted. I think Vayne could probably fight. It's got double buff, got 2 levels on the jungler. That's one thing there, because Vayne does actually scale relatively well with levels. Oh, condemn into the tower there. Is it going to be enough? Ignite. The red buff, yes.
The red buff.
Yeah, not ignite, red buff. But because Vayne does scale relatively well with levels, the extra experience he's getting from being in a 2v1 lane is really helping. Oh, first mushroom. Is he going to go into the second mushroom? I don't think he is. He's going to try and fight it, but wild growth is not going to be enough for you there, Belgarian. Flux Chiller flying around like Superman here. Going to be able to pick up his second kill of the game, and Belgarian just deciding his fate was to die to Teemo.
Just getting himself that extra 1 or 2 CS, so that he doesn't, even though he's died, he gets a little bit of gold.
Yeah. Lee Sin here.
It's
Sorry.
Teemo's playing this well. He's playing this very, very well. You know,
you've got a recurve bow now as well. Is he going to go Wit's End, or do you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to pick up those Berserker's Greaves and pick up a Wit's End and just go like full attack speed with the Runans. You think he's going to go Runan?
Yeah, Teemo with the
Runans
is basically hell on earth. Ooh. Mithistral leaving there as well, so I'm not sure if they'll continue to fight this. A 3v5 would probably be a little bit too much.
I think so too.
So we have got a pause coming out. Hopefully this will be sorted out really quickly. 8,000 gold in the lead, 17 kills to 3. 18 minutes into the game, Mithistral is back, so hopefully we'll be able to get restarted.
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, a great start from Flux. You know, they've had tough times with the reconnects and the disconnects and all these kinds of things. And those things kind of play with your mind. They, you know, they get into your head. And so the fact that they've still had such a strong, kind of come out strong and got really stuck in and done really good work and, you know, got themselves a nice advantage has shown that they're as semi-professionals, they've got the right mindset coming into these games and they're not trying to let these things affect them. And that's good to see. Whether this Nami comes back, could. Because if Nami comes back, then we're back to the old strategy, which was if we reach late game, we win because our late game is better. And whereas at the moment we're on that 5v4 where the late game is in favor of Pony. So we'll see. Oh, yeah. I mean, if Mexi comes back at any point, this game is going to be very, very difficult for Pony to get into. Oh, I mean, it's still very difficult for Pony to get into at the moment because Lee Sin because he's so far ahead. He's like ahead of, like, you know, normally Lee Sin's power curve kind of falls off and he doesn't do as much damage. But because he's ahead in terms of gold and itemization, he's just able to maintain ahead of everyone else's curve and still do very, very, very well and do lots of damage and be very scary. And if he can keep this kind of momentum going, they might not even. This might be a very quick game.
Yeah, that in some ways is the hope here for Perilous Flux, because I think if it does start to elongate, as we talked about earlier, it's definitely going to go advantage of the team with 5 members, really, even though there's a 2-level advantage for Vayne over Twitch, and there's a 2-level advantage in the mid lane, and there's a 2-level advantage in the top lane. At some point, that experience balances out, because
There's
you can't get any more experience after level 18.
Plateau.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is kind of where the Lulu Oriana could come into play more, because they are very good at turtling. You know, you've got long range sort of wave clear on that Oriana and the Lulu, and so you can kind of do the same kind of job as Ziggs and Anivia that we talked about as well.
Yeah.
So if they can use that to their advantage and maybe stall out and not letting any inhibitors fall by being overly aggressive and just have good vision and be very safe, they can kind of play the long kind of the old CLG EU type games, you know, the 60-minute wonders.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult for Pony to do that, just because of the skill that we see coming out from Lee Sin and from Ezreal and from Teemo in the top lane. I mean, lots of people don't think that Teemo takes a lot of skill to play, but you do have to know your limits and know how well you can sort of position yourself and how well you can play. And
the fact that he's got so much attack speed means that, you know, Cheekiller needs to be aware of how he can kite effectively with that Frozen Mallet and getting as many attacks in as possible. You know, so you need to have reasonably good mechanics in terms of your attack movement and the way you're using and maximising your DPS in that sort of respect.
We do actually see Flux starting to play this 3v5 at the moment. They're going to go onto Oriana. She's getting taken very low. Wow, she just gets melted down. And even though there's Thresh there to protect her from Lee Sin, just not quite reacting in time. And see Jarvan getting chased off to the side as well. Teemo in the mid lane. Mexi's actually back in the game, so it's a Nami 4-man team. Nice blade hook there onto Flux. Is he going to go down? Yes, he does. Thresh getting only the 4th kill of the game for his team. He's actually got half of his team's kills at the moment. So
Keke's a beast.
Yeah, Keke the Thresh carry.
Yeah, Keke, you are now the Thresh Prince. It's been crowned for Cyber Gaming. You're the Thresh Prince.
Thresh Prince of Cyber Gaming UK.
The True Shot Mirage coming down the middle there, not able to pick himself up that Jarvan. But with that Lich Bane and the Athenes, Shawsey is doing serious work.
That he is. We see a Blade of the Rune King finished on Vayne as well, but obviously he's not in the game anymore.
Yeah, but Mexi is back.
Confused about who is in the game.
We've switched. The support's come back and the AD carry's gone.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting because we talked about how Vayne was sort of there. If you build magic resist, we'll just kill you with Vayne idea, but they don't have that anymore. Although Teemo, not building any magic damage, is going for that AD tank Teemo, and it is a Runans, as I said.
Yes, it is a Runans.
Ooh, crits going on Curry here. Shockwave actually hits and knocks up Shawsey as well. Ezreal going to be able to... Oriana's going to be able to get away from that one. Just about 100 HP or so on her, so manages to survive.
Gets away okay. But now that they've seen that Keke can land these hooks and land decent flays and boxes and things, they're going to be... Is the ult coming in? Is it coming in?
Oh, True Shot Mirage! Oh, it was close.
Close. It hit, but it was no cigar. But as I was saying, now that they know that Keke can hit these decent hooks and these decent flays, they're more hesitant to tower dive than they have been in the past. Getting this dragon...
I think if Lee Sin had that stolen away from him by a hook...
I was hoping that he was going to steal that because it would just be fantastic.
It would have been fantastic, but I don't think Crits has shown us that he's the sort of Lee Sin who would have a dragon stolen away by a hook.
I think you're absolutely correct. Yes.
It does look like Vayne might have reconnected in the game, so hopefully for Flux he will be back. Oh, look at this damage onto Cook. He's going to get melted. Use of the Cataclysm right at the end as well, so that won't be up by the time he gets back in.
Nice little bit of vision there to give them the kind of knowledge that they needed of where Jarvan was, and they just pick him off and just take him out. And that's pretty much been how this game has been all around. Just making the vision or finding someone and picking them off and just making plays around that. And that's kind of how this comp is built somewhat with that Nami and with that Lee Sin, is just find someone. So we're at a bit of a lull in the game right now because, you know, Pony are in this state where they need to kind of play very passive because they are far behind, but they know that if they hang on, that they'll be okay and it will come back round maybe. But Cheekiller, another sort of great pressure up in this top lane to get himself even more turrets and just provide his team with even more gold.
So the Runans allows him to apply a lot of pressure as well because of his pushing power. He can push a wave superbly quickly. And he's actually hiding around the side here. Is Belgarian going to get caught out? He's going to... No, misses the stream, but he's going to get jumped on. So look at that slow from Frozen Mallet as well. Wild Growth coming out really early. Glitterlance is there. He's not going to flash in for the kill nor use Ghost, but Belgarian had to pop his ultimate for that one.
I tell you what, I think I want to see Chi Killer get to Ghost to swiftness, because if he got the slow reduction, and with the movement speed you get from them, and maybe even Fury enchantment or something like that, you would never be able to you'd never be able to escape this Teemo with that Frozen Mallet. Ever.
Oh. Blue buff actually going across there to Jarvan instead of the Orianna. That's really going to hamper her quite a bit. She's only got Athenes at the moment, so quite far behind this Ezreal. He's got his Lich Bane and a needlessly large rod as well, and they're going to push down this mid lane as much as they can.
Great little rotation in to try and trying to work onto this turret. But you're really starting to see the problems that are going to stem from the fact that Ezreal's got quite short attack range, Teemo's got quite short attack range, and when Vayne's around, she's also got quite short attack range. So they do struggle to siege. You know, this is very much a comp where they need to take some guys out or dive onto them, and then they can take objectives off the back of that, or through superior rotations. And we know that Flux can make great rotations, but it's whether Pony can respond in time or be in the right place at the time. It's going to decide really whether they lose any more objectives.
Yeah, it's another tower going down, so that is another objective here secured for Flux. They're 10,000, 11,000 gold in the lead, really. And with the Lich Bane, Ezreal, although he's got short range, will be able to push down those towers relatively quickly if he can get in range for those auto attacks. Crit's actually jumping in here. Wow, that Dragon's Rage. And Exponent's going to take him very low. One more Sonic Wave. He does hit. And they're going to be able to get another kill. And this should be the tower in the bottom lane here for Flux.
And that's it. Like, Pony should have been there to defend that turret. It shouldn't have just been Twitch on his own. And if they'd have reacted a little bit quicker in time, we could have seen that turret not go down, potentially. And Twitch would have been in a much safer position. But Teemo, wow.
Look at that damage. Shockwave's going to hit, but is it going to be enough? I think Teemo probably able to chase it when the flash comes out here. Decided not to flash himself or use his Ghost, actually. So Teemo hanging on to those summoners, even though he might have been able to secure a kill.
He's pretty content. Orianna's not actually worth that much gold, being 0-4-0. So, you know, the holding on to those summoners just gives him even more power in these lanes and just gives him more safety and just allows him to carry on in this split push and just be the annoying guy that he wants to be. He sat on 3,000 gold, goes back, buys the Blade of the Rune King. Wow. Wow,
yeah, that's just so much more stick power for him. It's not going to be able to get
1.9 attack speed he's sat on right now, which
1.9,
which is going to be just ridiculous levels of attack speed. I think he must be running attack speeds in his quints as well or something, potentially. He's sat on quite a lot of movement speed, which is coming from that W, which he's maxed as either his first or his second. I predict it's probably his second, sorry. Yeah. So he really wanted to have that passive movement speed and just ward up this topside jungle with all these mushrooms, which just keeps him so safe, and then split push to hell with this Runehands and just be annoying and really just kind of...
Oh, Crit's missed his first Sonic Wave of the game there, and actually gets hooked in as well. Safeguard's still available. The Flake, he safeguards across towards the Wraith there. Really nicely done by him. Teemo's going to come down and try and help him out if he needs it. Still a 4v5, we have to remember, so it's going to be difficult for them to actually counter-engage if they want to, but Teemo pushed out that top wave really, really well.
Yeah, Teemo just creating great pressure up in that top lane, and Lulu then had to make a decision. And I think if Chi Killer had stuck around, he might have been able to get some decent damage onto that inhib. But you know, if they can make these plays where they force someone to leave that top lane and leave Teemo alone, you could end up losing objectives for that, because they just kind of split that decision making and split them to force apart. And those are the kind of moves that long-term investment as a team you need to work on together, because those are the kind of plays that really dictate it. And I'd actually, and this is that same kind of experience thing as you're seeing Thresh realistically. When you're against this Teemo, you want to pick up that upgraded lens.
Yeah.
So you can kind of regain some of your jungle or just get more pink wards out and all these kinds of things. And these are things that I think Pony need to work on. And if they do work on them, they could be a good team. And so they need to work on getting more vision around this map, or adapting the vision game depending on who they're against. You know, just like when you're against that Evan, you need to have more vision against that stealth, and I think they need to be more aware of how they need to adapt their vision against this Teemo pick as well, who's clearly being a big problem for them.
Yeah, very frustrating to have that team in the top lane. He's 70 CS ahead of his lane opponent as well, and we just see, like, he's definitely causing difficulties here for the pony team. Oh, actually, Death Center's landing there. He's going to go in, but the flash away from Shorzy on there as you're going to be able to escape. And Mexi and Crits right on that backline, onto that Twitch, and Teemo's actually getting red buff for himself. I thought he was splitting bush lane, but he's decided to get that red buff.
Thresh hitting Keke, just hitting great hooks all game long. Really impressed with this guy. Really impressed.
Definitely hit some really good hooks, but look at that Ezreal damage. Half of two-thirds of Jarvan's health with only his normal skills, like the Essence, Flux, Arcane Shift, and the Mystic Shot doing a huge amount of damage, and they're going to be able to get that tower pushed down for this inhibitor tower as well. Probably won't be able to get any damage down on this because there's no way. That
barrage is doing 900 damage before mitigation.
That's a lot of damage.
And well, you saw it then. It hit a Twitch straight up, and it half HP'd him pretty much. So if he can hit the arcane, the true shot barrage, he can be in a very good position. Not quite landing on that hook there.
Yeah, very, very close.
Close stuff, yeah.
See, actually, the ambush coming out here from Twitch, is he going to do anything with it? Nope. Just chucks out that Venom cask, and looks like the tower might even go down. Teemo doing a lot of damage to it, and Lee Sin as well. Ooh. Yep, that's Ezreal's damage right there. Shockwave actually hitting only onto Teemo. Crits is there. Dragon's Edge kick nice into the back line. Ezreal is still alive. Here comes the Tidal Wave as well. Is Ezreal going to be able to get an Arcane Shift in on this one? Nope. Decides against it. He's going to back away from it as well. Just push out the wave. The inhibitor's going to go down, and it's going to be a big push here for Flux. It's great they've taken the inhibitor. They've got those couple of kills as well.
I think we might see them trying to go for some more next. Yeah. A great hook on the shores.
Yeah, the flay, but no one's also attacking him, so he's not going to get any tower aggro there. Essence, Flux, and Mystic Shot just missing there, and going to back away. 17,000 gold in the lead in a 4v5 at the moment.
Flux are making the moves that they need to do to keep the pressure on, keep the aggro up, so that they really don't know how to deal with this. And a teleport coming out from Lulu there to get into that top lane to try and get some semblance of damage onto this top lane turret, just to get them any kind of amount of gold back, but. Teemo's returned again, and he's got that red buff as well. Yeah.
Got red buff, Lee Sin coming down from the side as well. Belgarian's not getting out of this one. Hasn't got flash available, hasn't got wild growth available. That is one dead Lulu there, and Crits actually comes in, safeguards just so he can get the assist.
Yes, absolutely. And just try to use that teleport aggressively to get that turret down, but they don't have the vision around the map, especially in the top side jungle.
This is not a good idea. He's trying to engage here onto the Ezreal, but he's going to get taken down. Look at that. Even with Rat-a-tat-tat or Spray and Pray on, didn't get the Expunge off. Expunge probably would have got him the kill there, and Vayne back in the game means that they can secure this Baron.
Yeah, so that Baron is going to go down very, very quickly with Teemo with the Blade the Rune King, Vayne with Blade the Rune King, Phantom Dancer. That's going to go down.
Ooh, Shockwave actually there. Cook going in very late there, and Vayne is still alive. There we are. That's a one dead Jarvan. They managed to get the hook onto Vayne, but not going to be able to do anything from that. And this might even be a push for the win here coming out from Flux.
Yep. I mean, now that Mithistros has come back, we're on that 5v5 now. They've got the mana even, but they've got the 20k gold lead and the Baron buff. It's got to be with the inhib down. It's only a matter of time now.
You look at it, Mithistros has been disconnected for 5 minutes, and he's the same level as his enemy AD carry.
Yeah, it's just
amazing.
Yeah, that's just really the advantage that he built for himself. Mexi was disconnected for 20 minutes, something crazy, and now he's managed to get himself completely back into this game.
He's actually ahead in levels. I mean, yes, they changed the way that experience works, and if you're behind in levels, as opposed to the collective level, you gain more experience. But still, being ahead in levels after being disconnected for that long really shows that this Flux... Do
you believe in the AP Ezreal?
I believe, I'm going to go into ranked and play AP Ezreal only from now on. Look at that damage, it's incredible.
It's AP Ezreal, man. It's the dream. Yeah. We're going to make highlight montages of Shorty's AP Ezreal. And now, actually, with the changes they made to Ezreal, I think you can Essence Flux yourself if you flash or Arcane Shift into it.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe we'll Shorzy do some boss play.
He's going to survive with the Mikhails. Vayne off to the side gets exhausted. X-Pretend is trying to fight this one out. Won't be able to do it because of the Blade of the Rune King keeping Mithistro alive. Nice Nami Tidal Wave. Belgarian gets taken down. Double kill there for Shorzy on their Ezreal. And Keke, you are a dead man. Triple kill. Next, tower's going down in the top lane as well. They're not even going to get the top lane inhibitor or the bot lane inhibitor. They're going to get the Nexus Turrets, and this is going to be a game for Team Flux.
Yeah, great move from Perilous Gaming Flux. You know, at the end there, once Mythistra's finally come back and sorted out his internet. And they just showed the gold advantage that they had in the end.
Frustrating that we had all the pauses. It felt very much like a stop-starty game, but
yes.
I've apparently qualified for a series, guys. So
good job.
My next games will determine whether I advance. Isn't that great?
That is fantastic, isn't it?
I think we have to give MVP there to Shorzy. Like, that Ezreal, so
you think so?
But like, so Crits played an incredible early game, but I think Shorzy made the game. It's so much damage coming out from him. He kept poking people down, and then no one could fight against them because they were all half health already.
The only other contender that I would have is Teemo, but just because I want to give it to Teemo because it's Teemo.
I don't want to give it to Teemo.
Okay, fine.
Teemo.
Fine. Okay. MVP Shorzy.
MVP Shorzy. I think
Shorzy,
Crits played superbly, but they gave him Lee Sin, and Lee Sin is definitely his favourite champion. I think it has to go to Shorzy.
Yeah, I think so too. We saw AP Ezreal as a unique or a slightly less meta pick. Yeah. And he did damn good work on it. Really, really good work.
Yeah. So very well played there to Flux. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the next game, guys. Sorry about all the pauses in that one. Obviously nothing we can do, but we'll be right back. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope you are having a good time.